Future Proof is sponsored by Equipping Young Adults for Life, inspiring student resilience, championing hope.
Hello and welcome to Future Proof. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue these future proofing discussions, looking at how to empower students, to people going out into the business world, certainly job hunting, maybe even thinking of setting up your own business, to those also who are already established in business, maybe in jobs. Maybe there's a sense of uncertainty, maybe there's a sense of huge certainty and drive, and you're just looking for inspiration to drive on a little bit more. There's a massive wide spectrum of where everybody is at the moment, not just in education but in the business world, and I just hope that Future Proof in some way helps to encourage you, to empower you, but also be thought-provoking and maybe send you back to family, friends, teams, or the boardroom to maybe discuss something in a different light, or maybe use one of the tools that I've been sharing with you as I've been filming these programs. And the last number of programs have been centered around these negative mindsets, and these negative mindsets were drawn up by a fantastic lady called Joyce Meyer. I have an awful lot of time for her, and I've learned so much from her, and been working down, as I say, all of these, and I've now got to the penultimate one, which is don't make me wait, I deserve things immediately. And the first thing that comes to mind, number one, of course, that is a mindset that does not serve us. Don't make me wait does not serve us. I deserve things immediately does not serve us. It's negative just from managing our own expectations, but also, you know, we need to be getting on with people around us. We need to be creating alliances. We need to be collaborating, and this sort of single-minded mindset isn't going to serve us in any way, shape or form. I'm not saying there's no place for it. Sometimes, you know, you can kind of pull it out and use it temporarily, but I would suggest it doesn't serve us in the long term. So what comes to mind? The first thing that comes to mind is a great thought that the way that we wait determines how high we bounce when the tide turns, when circumstances turn or the landscape becomes more favourable for us getting what it is that we want. And always remember that what we want is not always what we need. So often that waiting can sometimes pull out whether we are actually wanting the right thing or not. Often what we want is not what we need, and searching out what we need should be a priority. So one thought is the way that we wait will determine how high we bounce once the landscape changes, and once things become more favourable, or the, if you like, the fertile land for what we want and what have you changes to be the right environment, the right climate, the right soil, if you like, for whatever we want to be grounded. So the other thing that comes to mind is an experiment that was done quite a number of years ago, and it was looking at, and it followed some young children from the age of 4, I think it was, and it followed them from a decision that they made at a tender young age, followed them into adulthood, and it was quite uncanny to see a stark or accumulation of stark evidence to show that the way that they thought at such a young age did have a direct impact on their sense of success versus failure, their friendship groups, their ability to work well, to communicate well, to live well in their environment. And the test was talking about deferring pleasure and their ability to defer pleasure to wait for something better. And so the key word there is the waiting. So the experiment was that these students, these kids basically, were given a choice, and it was called the marshmallow experiment. And they were given a choice. They could either have the marshmallow that was in front of them and they could eat it now, or they could wait. So that's the key word, wait, i.e. defer the pleasure, defer eating it now, with the promise of having more marshmallows, so more than the one that was in front of them, at a later time. And the time frames were quite small, 15 minutes or something like that. And what the experiment revealed was that some of those children were able to say, I want to wait, I'm not going to eat the marshmallows in front of me, I'm going to wait until I can have more at a later date. And the reason for wanting more could be that they want to eat them all themselves, but equally there are many children who are thinking, if I get more, then I've got enough for my siblings, or I've got enough for the family. So it's not always about wanting to eat them themselves. But there were those who just couldn't. They might have wanted to and thought, I'm going to wait like my friend. They were all in the same room. They could see what the others were doing. I'm going to wait. But they really, really, really struggled, to the point that some of them couldn't wait, and they ended up eating the marshmallow straight away. That was a guaranteed fix. If I eat it now, then I know I've got it. It's not deferring the pleasure, but it was a guarantee that they had what was in front of them now. They had it immediately. And these children were followed through their teenage years and into their early adulthood. I think the survey, if you like, stopped very early on into their 20s. And the ones that could defer, the ones that said, I know I've got this here in front of me now, but I am going to wait. I'm going to wait till more marshmallows come my way. As they were followed into their adulthood, it showed that they had a greater awareness of success. They were deemed more successful in themselves and their own thinking, if you like, and they apparently were better at socializing and relationship stuff. They had a bigger circle of friends, for example. Now, my husband is an introvert through and through, so yes, he has friends, he's got very, very good friends, but from an introvert's point of view, the last thing he wants is a wide circle of friends. That doesn't feed him. So I'm not saying a wide circle of friends is the be all and end all. If you can count 1 or 2, 3 good friends on one hand, then you're doing very, very well if they are trusted, loyal, faithful friends. So big circles of friends isn't always the right answer. I'm not saying that's bad either, obviously. But the ones who couldn't wait, they did that for many reasons. It could be just in their makeup that they were not wired to do that. It was a too big a ask, if you like. But also, and I have talked about this years ago now in another program, saying that some of them would have had very, very good reasons to not want to wait, and that is based around trust. They have trusted before. They did believe what was being said to them before. So if you think of the marshmallow scenario, they did believe that more marshmallows would come later, and they were badly let down. That promise did not come through. So if that was you, where you've had burnt promises before, then it would be perfectly understandable for you to say, no, this marshmallow's in front of me now, I'm going to eat it now, because I have no certainty that you are actually going to do what you say you're going to do. So, I think it would be very, very wrong to say that everybody comes from this on a level playing field. We certainly don't. We all have different experiences through life which affect our decisions. So there's no judgment there. But equally, it does raise the question about our ability to wait. And if you wait with a good, healthy attitude, then you will bounce higher when the tide turns. And I have to say that's counterintuitive. If things are not going our way, and particularly if that stays in a chronic state, in other words, we are living with the situation for a long period of time, then as humans, usually our behaviour can deteriorate as the environment feels low and not favourable. And if anything, if we were challenged on it, we will say, yes, once I get what I want, my behaviour will improve. And whilst we can understand that, because you think once I get what I want, I feel better, so I can behave better, that's not what we should be doing. We should be behaving to our best ability in spite of the fact that things are not going our way. And when we can behave and wait well, then when the tide turns, we bounce a lot higher. Do come back in the second half. I'm going to be going through the secret of success, which we call VTO, value to others, and that helps us wait with a good attitude. So ponder on the marshmallow experiment and maybe ask, what would your decision have been? Would you have the marshmallow now, or would you wait?